You have exactly 3 seconds to like and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, I'll appear in your dreams tonight. To ask for a donation for that cup of coffee, link below.
Try to remember how many times you've seen symbols like these. Once, 10 times, or so many that you can't even remember. It's when exactly the name Nestlé became one of the most iconic food brands in our minds. But their presence has also often been associated with scandals, lawsuits, and complaints stemming from child labor, the provision of contaminated food, deforestation, and the theft of water resources. However, Nestlé persevered, grew, and became the world's largest food corporation. But why? First, we need to go back in history. Let's go back to 8. The man before you is Henrik Nestlé, a pharmacist living in the German city of Frankfurt. It is He moved to Switzerland between 1804 and 1839. Shortly afterward, he was granted permission to conduct chemistry experiments, prescribe and sell medications in Lawrence. To make money quickly, he also expanded his business into various other fields, such as producing golden wine, sparkling mineral water, and bottled water. The Nestlé brand was also established during this period. By 1867, Nestlé noticed a sharp increase in infant mortality rates due to a lack of breast milk. Vo realized that not every mother has fresh breast milk for her child. Then Nestlé suddenly had an idea. Why not produce and sell a type of milk that is nutritionally complete, even for mothers who are unable or unwilling to breastfeed? Without hesitation, he sought out and collaborated with this man, a scientist specializing in human nutrition, to develop powdered beverage combining cow's milk and cereals. This type of milk was subsequently proven to be a viable alternative to breastfeeding. Indeed, thanks to its convenience and suitability for all, the product quickly sold throughout Europe. But Henry Nestlé's ambitions didn't stop. In the late 19th and early, he again partnered with Swiss businesses to develop the chocolate industry. Later, they acquired companies that produced condensed milk, white chocolate, biscuits, and by selling a wide variety of goods at reasonable prices. Nestlé attracted a large customer base, recognizing the growing demand. Nestlé expanded production. They decided to build more production facilities in developing countries, especially in South America, where there is fertile land, abundant water resources, and diverse natural resources. Music. But Nestlé's work wasn't always smooth sailing. During the war, Nestlé faced a decline in orders as customers no longer placed as many orders. Nevertheless, Nestlé was able to leverage the second strategy to introduce its products to more potential customers. A prime example is Nestlé's whole coffee, which has been used as the primary beverage by many US military units. At the same time, Nestlé was also supplying canned food to the Nazi army. After all, Nestlé's businesses continued to grow in both Europe and North America. Leveraging its abundant capital, the company acquired a series of food manufacturers that were potential future competitors. Among them is Maggi, Swiss spice producer, and Cross, a British food brand, Fetus, Swedish food and beverage manufacturer, and also Liebs, Stouffer's, like well-known food companies in Europe and North America. Nestlé easily became a star in the global food market. To date, Nestlé owns over 2,000 brands, many of which have become very famous. But of course, Nestlé couldn't take over all the canned food manufacturers in the world. They are not simply one big brand among dozens of other giants. Consumer demand for canned food has also reached its limit. However, Nestlé himself didn't want to raise the price of the product because it would drive away customers. Like any family business, they aim for maximum profit with minimal expense. And so a series of secret actions began. Her music, Nestlé's leader, immediately reviewed each of their products, sold in the global market. Their eyes were drawn to the box of infant formula. They then recalled the year when Henry Nestlé and his close friend were researching infant formula for mothers who were unable to breastfeed. An idea born. Why limit the target customers of formula milk to mothers who cannot breastfeed when Nestlé can sell this product to all mothers? However, to convince breastfeeding parents to, Nestlé needs to send them the message that their product provides more nutrients than breast milk. True to his word, Nestlé then launched thousands of consumer marketing campaigns, using a slow but steady approach. Mothers gradually gained trust in Nestlé milk and bought more of it. But the truth is that Nestlé doesn't provide the adequate nutrition for children as breast milk, on the other hand, can provide antibodies and certain nutrients that help protect babies from illnesses, including diarrhea, gastroenteritis, ear infection, and nerve cell development. Breast milk with formula is considered a cause of malnutrition in young children. Therefore, many doctors and international organizations such as the WHO have condemned Nestlé's marketing practices and called for a boycott of their products. This situation forced Nestlé to redesign his message. Mother jellyfish is the best choice for newborn, and Nestlé products are irreplaceable. However, the corporation still found many other ways to circumvent the law. In poor countries, many mothers are not healthy enough to breastfeed their children. In other cases, some mothers have to take medication that makes their cells more susceptible to toxicity. When it comes to premature birth, breastfeeding is not recommended, especially in impoverished areas. Premature babies may have difficulty breastfeeding, and the milk from these mothers may not be nutritious enough. Additionally, a 1905 study that breast milk may transmit HD. Their dairy company, including Nestlé, have exploited this scientific evidence to exaggerate the risks of breastfeeding. Nestlé was accused of providing free or inexpensive infant formula to babies in hospitals and maternity centers, often distributed by nursing assistants. The sales staff were wearing nurse uniforms. Through this initiative, Nestlé hopes that mothers will buy formula to supplement their children's nutrition, even when it's not necessary. But this Swiss corporation seems to have inadvertently or intentionally forgotten that in countries with low per capita income, mothers often lack knowledge, money, and clean water. Uneducated, even use unsanitary water to prepare milk. When children drink that milk, the toxins are absorbed very quickly. The risk of death from diseases such as diarrhea and pneumonia also increases by 6 to 25 times. Their products inherently contain harmful substances, whether intentionally or unintentionally. In 2004, Public A, Swiss investigative organization, sent samples of baby food products from this Swiss multinational company sold in Asia, Africa, and Latin America to a Belgian laboratory for testing. Results: product packaging testing revealed the presence of added sugar in the form of sucrose or honey in the food samples. A brand of infant formula for children aged 1 year and older, and type of cereal for children aged 6 months to 2 years. Meanwhile, in Nestlé's main markets in Europe, including the UK, there is no added sugar in their infant formula drinks, while cereals marketed for toddlers often contain added sugar. In addition to sugar in excess of above recommendations in poor countries, it is believed to increase the risk of obesity and many other diseases. In particular, obesity is becoming an increasing problem. Low and middle income countries, in the number of overweight children under 5 has increased by nearly since 2000. According to the World Health Organization, more than 1 billion people globally are living with obesity. Furthermore, in some cases, milk produced by Nestlé was contaminated, posing a direct danger to. In 2005, Italian authorities confiscated 30 million liters of Nestlé milk. Nestlé also ordered the recall of several products from Nidina 1, Nite, Latimio. According to information released at the time, Nestlé used packaging printed with poor quality ink, toxic substance from Bobby's milk, due to leaking, pose a danger to consume. In 2008, the Saudi Arabian Food and Product Authority reported on its website that high concentrations of melamine had been found in Nestlé dairy products sold in the kingdom. They also issued a warning that those products could be harmful to health. However, despite all the scandals, Nestlé has remained strong in most of the countries where it maintains manufacturing operations. Additionally, local consumers may choose not to use Nestlé dairy products if there is no need for them. But when it comes to clean water, it's a different story. For example, California. Crystal clear streams flowing down steep mountain slopes in a national forest. Each year, Nestlé extracts 45 million liters of pure water from the springs and bottles it under the Arrowheader brand. Despite exploiting federal land, this giant Swiss-made structure pays virtually no money to the Forest Service or the state and reaps huge profits with Nestlé Water's worldwide sales over $7 USD. Conservationists say some of the stream beds in the area have now dried up, and the once erupting springs have shrunk into brittle stream. The Forest Service recently determined that Nestlé's activities have weakened Strawberry Creek while current water extraction is depleting surface water resources. Not only in the U.S. state of California, Nestlé has faced scandals related to the exploitation of surface water resources. Similar situations have occurred in other areas such as Michigan and Colorado. And music. In countries with relatively scarce water resources, such as Pakistan and Nigeria, the situation is even worse. For example, Nestlé in Pakistan has frequently been criticized for failing to provide drinking water to the local community. In 2013, reports revealed that thousands of Pakistanis in the village of Batigwan had fallen ill from drinking muddy water, while Nestlé used clean water for bottling. Nestlé later resold the bottled water to Pakistan. Results: Germany's Foodwatch laboratory show that infant formula products from Nestlé and several other companies contain aromatic mineral oil, suspected carcinogen. Mineral oil is the biggest contaminant in the human body. Aromatic mineral oil has been described by the European Food Safety Authority as potentially carcinogenic and mutagenic. That is why such substances should not be present in food, even in the smallest amounts. Bobbins are often the cause of mineral. Nestlé is not only embroiled in food safety scandals, but also indicate that they are responsible for environmental degradation and not only regularly stockpiles clean water in poor countries, but is also involved in numerous scandals concerning the use of child labor. Look at the screen. This popular snack is actually made by child laborers under the age of 15. In 2015, at a farm in the Devo province of the Russian coast, investigators found evidence of forced labor. When a young worker was not paid for a year of work at the farm, they had no protective gear and no minimum age or health requirements. Ultimately, any act taken to stop Nestlé's human rights abuses has not been stopped. So why is the simplest answer money? In Europe, Nestlé used money to bribe officials, who would then cover up the company's illegal activities. In 2025, a Senate investigative committee stated that the government of French President Emmanuel Macron had concealed decisions regarding the handling of illegally produced bottled water by the giant food corporation Nestlé, which includes the world-famous Perrier brand. Since you claim that Nestlé waters lack transparency, then the lack of transparency on the part of the French government must also be condemned. In poorer countries, Nestlé's investments are seen as a crucial resource for economic development. But most importantly, Nestlé created jobs for the people. Only people have stable jobs will they have enough income to support themselves. And when people have enough money to maintain a minimum standard of living for themselves, they will have less incentive to participate in government riot. Therefore, the more jobs a business can provide for its citizens, the happier the governments of poor countries will be. And Nestlé is a food manufacturing company. This industry is characterized by its high labor-intensive nature. For example, Nestlé SA's Pakistan brand employed as many as 3,009. Therefore, the Pakistani government provided Nestlé with very favorable conditions to operate, partly for the sake of stability and poverty reduction in the country. In places like the Russian coast. While Western human rights organizations condemned Nestlé's use of child labor, those same children sought out Nestlé to earn money. We had no money in China, so we came here to find money to eat. Without Nestlé, the children might have starved and been plunged into a life without hope. So, if Nestlé were to be treated in such a way that he were forced to leave, the poor workers would speak out in protest. Music. However, Nestlé doesn't always bring only bad things to sell more products in poor but densely populated areas like Africa. Nestlé needs to win the hearts of the people there. The methods they commonly use include supporting educational programs, household economic development. Typical examples of such efforts include ensuring children attend school, promoting the adoption of good farming practices, and implementing agroforestry practices to enhance resilience to climate change, while implementing a large-scale marketing and sales program. Inadvertently help thousands of Africans start businesses selling cassava and managing sales team. Sometimes they simply use the ingredients provided by Nestlé to create various types of drinks, and that provides them with a stable income. Nestlé also supports this approach and often has policies in place to provide appropriate support to their action. To some extent, indirectly help many people in Africa escape poverty. However, some immediate benefits cannot compensate for Nestlé's disregard for human rights. When Nestlé joined another corporation, he was not punished. They will imitate, and wealthy corporations may disregard all ethical standards. Anything good built on a foundation of evil intentions will never be guaranteed. But ultimately, Nestlé's greed is similar to that of any other capitalist corporation that operates on the principle of prioritizing profit. They exploit every loophole in the legal system in every country to maximize their benefits, including encouraging the use of formula instead of breast milk and child labor. In the cocoa farming industry, many individuals and human rights organizations have protested against Nestlé, but they have remained steadfast. Nestlé skillfully employed unconventional methods such as bribery and cultivating beneficial relationships with officials in the West. In poor countries, their business activities inadvertently solve the problem of unemployment. However, only time will tell whether Leon Nestlé can maintain his current way of working. Ha music.